Are you planning for your next camping trip on your EV and maybe looking at some accessories to make that trip a little bit better? If you are, then this video is just for you. In case you haven't met, my name is Charles, and on this channel, I talk about everything to do with Sealion 7, and occasionally those kind of features overlap with all other BYDs as well. Today specifically, I was actually intending to do this video during my camping trip and walk through some of these accessories that I want to kind of share with you guys. Unfortunately, some of you may know this, in recent time there's a lot of earthquakes happening in JB or Johor, and rain as well. So I had to kind of do this in my studio at home. Personally, I feel these particular accessories can actually help improve your EV camping experience, and it doesn't matter if I review it on a campsite or not at a campsite. First things first, I'm actually so glad that BYD actually allows or comes with the V2L capability. So just in case you're unaware what V2L means, it's actually vehicle to load. Essentially, you can actually tap on the battery on the Sealion 7 and power appliances, be it lights, fans, pots, kettle, whatever. And we all know, with appliances, it just makes that camping trip a little bit more luxurious. But in order to do that, we first need to have an ability to tap the power from the car to our appliances. And that's where the V2L adapters come about. Some of you might be wondering, why talk about V2L adapters? Shouldn't they already come with the car? So that's where the interesting part is. In some countries like Singapore, the V2L adapters doesn't actually come with every purchase of the BYD cars. I've actually asked the sales guy about this before, and his exact answer to me was, well, Singaporeans don't really go for camping anyway. So I actually bought one myself for my last camping trip, which I didn't end up using anyhow, was the adapter only, which looks a little bit like this, right? So this part just plugs into the car, and then you have the plug point here, right? Not too sure if you can see it. Let's try to get reflection. There it is. So this is pretty simple. Essentially, you just plug it in, but you need to bring an extension cord with it. I kind of like this particular one, but I was also looking for one that has the adapter and then the power board at the end of it. So this is the one from Top BYD. Let me just open this up and show you guys. So here it is. Very nicely done. I like the whole white finish, and obviously a nice cap with it. So this actually plugs into the car directly. Okay, hope you can see it. And a power board right at the end. I actually much prefer something like that. That simply means I don't actually have to carry another item, when I travel. So I bought this on my own, and then I got sent this. But essentially, this was what I wanted. This was a lot harder to find for some reason. I looked up in Shopee, and there were only a few vendors actually selling it, and this one was a plenty. You can find this very easily. I didn't really like this. I found it a little loose for me. It just kept coming off, accidentally kind of knocked over the cable. But nonetheless, really a matter of preference for you guys. I personally like this one. And having said that, this actually costs a little bit more, understandably, because it's got that big plug head, and obviously the power board is a little bit more expensive. Having said that, our friends at Top BYD actually carries both. So if you prefer to have a little knob like that and put it in your trunk, this is probably the way to go. This obviously takes up a little bit more space, unfortunately. Both options are pretty well built in itself. It doesn't look like it's made of flimsy plastic. The adapter, the knob itself, or even the big chunky one, both of them actually pretty sturdy. I've actually tried it at home with a toaster and a kettle. So continuous power draw of 1 to 2 kilowatt, which is typical of a toaster or a kettle, no issues there. Of course, if you power fans and lights, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Usually it's the heating element type appliances that causes a little bit of concern. As always, if you're interested to get the V2L chargers or any accessories for that matter, do check out the link below to Top BYD. I actually have a discount code there, and you'll get 5% off your next purchase. So truly for me, this is one of the most important accessories that you need to get for your next camping trip. It may not be camping, it might also just be a picnic. Moving along, the next thing I want to talk about is actually these bags here. These were actually sent to me by Top BYD. I didn't know it existed. This was something they had in development, but where does these bags actually fit? These bags actually fit right at the front of the frunk. So it actually comes in two to fill up the complete section of the frunk, and it also comes with a strap where you can kind of buckle on the side. Okay, I was genuinely very surprised with the quality. I'm not too sure about you. Sometimes when you buy things like cooler bags, the quality is pretty ordinary and shoddy. But when this one came, I was surprised. I'll see if I can show you on camera. Look at the insulation meshing here. It's actually pretty high quality. It doesn't come out well on the camera because of the reflection, but trust me, it is a lot higher quality than what we are normally used to in the run-of-the-mill supermarket type shopping bag. So it's pretty large. You can put quite a bit of stuff in here, and because this is only one of two, you can actually use this for groceries as well. I've actually used it a couple of times while shopping for groceries. Just in case, fun fact, if you didn't know this, the Sealion 7 Frunk is actually pretty warm. So I was doing a grocery run recently in Johor, and I had some cake, which I actually accidentally left it in the Frunk. And as you probably know, the traffic between Johor and Singapore can be pretty bad. I got stuck in the traffic for 2 hours, and understandably, the cake completely melted. So in my next Johor grocery run, I will probably be smart enough to bring one of these, put a couple of ice packs in there, and hopefully keep things a little bit fresh. So from a camping use case perspective, of course, it will never beat a cooler box because the cooler box is made for that purpose. But this should give you a couple of hours of relief. Put enough ice packs in there, and you should be good. And like I said, it's quite unique to top BYD. So far, I think only they carry one of these, and they actually measured this and made to measure for the Sealion 7. So definitely must have, and do check them out. Next on the list, obviously when we go for road trips, the one thing is when I have my kids at the back, I need to kind of keep them entertained. And I know some of you have actually mentioned in the comments, oh, you know what, do you have a good recommendation for iPad mounts or tablet mounts for that matter? Some of you may know this. The run-of-the-mill iPad mounts, they are meant for traditional cars, which has the little two bars where you kind of clamp against. Doesn't quite work for the Sealion 7 or any BYDs for that matter. This is part because of the bucket seats and the sports-like seat on the Sealion 7. So our friends at Top BYD actually recently came up with a new product to address that. So this is the iPad or tablet mount. If you look at it here, I'm not too sure you can kind of see it. See, it's made for the Sealion 7 for Top BYD. And it comes with this little mount point thing, right? And to be really honest, this thing is super solid. I'm not too sure you can see it. It's actually pretty chunky. It's not like thin plastic. If I tap the sound on it, you can tell it's relatively solid, and it actually comes with the kind of rubber backing to kind of provide anti-slip. I actually have my tablet here. Yeah, it looks a little bit like that. It's pretty easy to stretch as well. So I've actually had mounts previously that is impossible to stretch, and it's definitely a pain in the butt. So this is actually a godsend. Having said that, this device is the one that kind of does most of the magic. It actually clamps in between that gap in the seat. I must say it took a bit of finesse to kind of wedge it in, but once it's in, it's pretty sturdy. I forgot to actually take a picture because after I put it in, when I took it out, I didn't necessarily want to put it in again. This is something I reckon once you put it in, yeah, try not to remove it. And probably a good thing as well, you don't actually want your iPad or tablet kind of dropping midway through. So hopefully this will keep the kids entertained for a long time during your trip as well. So the next accessory I want to talk about is not actually made for camping, but I thought it could be quite interesting and useful. And this is actually the steering wheel desk. So what happens is that you hook your steering wheel against this and you get a little bit of a table, right? Unfortunately for me, I'm actually quite a tall guy, right? So once I hooked my steering, there was not a whole lot of space for me. But if you're much shorter, yeah, then this might actually work out pretty okay. But even on a camping trip, once you hook it on, you can actually sit on the passenger seat and use it as a spare table for putting whatever you need, right? So I think it can be pretty useful. It's actually dual-sided. I'm not too sure if you can see. So there's one side here that has a cup holder and a bit of space here. If your kids want to kind of use this as a play area. Alternatively, this section is more of a writing desk where you have a pen holder and whatnot. The plastic is pretty sturdy. If you want to know what the plastic looks like, I'm not too sure if you're familiar with toys where they used to make houses, like toy play houses, rugged and rigid plastic. It's actually made of those plastic. So it's pretty solid. So in no way in hell you can actually bend this. So yeah, So if you're looking for a desk, maybe not for camping, maybe just to do some work in the car, this might not be a bad option. And it's not too expensive as well, if I remember. Again, yeah, top BYD stocks all this kind of stuff, so you guys can go check it out. And if you're enjoying this video and want to kind of check out more accessories that you can buy, I actually have a few more reviews right up here, and you can check out this video. And that's all the time we have for today. Hopefully that's been useful. And as always, thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one.